Harmony Heights was precisely what its name suggested, a beacon of community, a vibrant, tight, knit African-American neighborhood just north of Atlanta. Here, the aroma of Sunday barbecue mingled with the sounds of gospel music drifting from open windows, and block parties were legendary. Neighbors looked out for one another, kids played freely in the tree-lined streets, and a palpable sense of shared history and collective ambition permeated the air. It was a place where dreams were nurtured and lives unfolded with a rhythm of comforting familiarity. By the way, before we get started, if stories of unsolved crimes, baffling evidence, and the relentless pursuit of justice intrigue you, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like button if you want to see more deep dives into the unknown. Subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And please share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know what country you are watching this from. We would love to tell more crime stories from your area. Now let us get back to the story. In this idyllic setting, Marcus, MJ, Jones, 38, and Savannah, Sunny, Evans, 20, were, by all accounts, Harmony Heights' golden couple. Their romance had blossomed over 18 months, a whirlwind courtship that captivated the community. Marcus, a charismatic and successful real estate investor, had returned to his childhood neighborhood after years away, bringing with him a polished charm and an aura of worldly success. He was known for his generous spirit, his deep laugh that could fill any room, and his active participation in local charity events. He sponsored youth sports teams, mentored aspiring entrepreneurs, and was quickly becoming a beloved figure. A prodigal son returned home to uplift his community. Savannah, a recent graduate from the local community college, was a vivacious, bright-eyed young woman, an aspiring artist whose canvases were filled with vivid colors and bold, expressive strokes. She worked part-time at the neighborhood art gallery, her infectious smile and genuine warmth endearing her to everyone she met. She was known for her quiet compassion, her dedication to her craft, and her deep roots in Harmony Heights, having lived there her entire life. Their love story felt like something out of a fairy tale. Marcus, older and more experienced, seemed to adore Savannah, showering her with affection, supporting her artistic endeavors, and treating her with a respect that many young women in the community envied. They were inseparable. They posted endless photos on Facebook, romantic dinners, trips to the beach, laughter, filled moments at local festivals. Their online presence mirrored their real-life adoration, a public testament to their perfect bond. The comments section of their posts overflowed with well wishes. Relationship goals, such a beautiful couple, God bless your union. Their eventual wedding was eagerly anticipated, expected to be the social event of the year, a celebration of new beginnings and enduring love in Harmony Heights. Marcus's past, while not entirely opaque, was deliberately vague. He spoke of growing up in Harmony Heights, but often skirted details about his biological family, only mentioning his late mother who had raised him and passed away years ago. He had moved away for college and career, returning now, as he said, to give back to the community that made me. No one questioned it. Savannah, whose mother had passed away when she was very young, and who had been raised by her elderly grandmother, found comfort in Marcus's shared experience of parental loss. Their similar backgrounds, they often remarked, drew them even closer. It was a connection built on perceived shared history, a foundation that felt solid, unbreakable, yet concealed a horrifying, unimaginable truth lurking beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect lives. Their relationship, as with many modern romances, played out significantly in the digital realm. Marcus and Savannah were prolific on social media, especially Facebook. Their profiles were a meticulously curated gallery of their affection. Selfies with wide, happy smiles, videos of impromptu dance sessions in their living room, live streams of their weekend excursions to local parks or art fairs. Marcus particularly embraced the live streaming feature, often broadcasting their dates, their conversations, or even mundane daily activities, inviting their followers into their seemingly perfect world. Just sharing the love. Fam, he'd say to the camera, his arm around a smiling Savannah. Gotta let y'all feel the good vibes. Savannah, though more reserved, enjoyed the public display of affection. It made her feel cherished, seen, and deeply loved. She would often scroll through the comments, feeling a warm glow from the outpouring of support and admiration from their friends and community members. This constant online validation, the public affirmation of their ideal relationship, became a powerful feedback loop, reinforcing their belief in their own happiness, obscuring any underlying disquiet. But beneath the surface of this digital idyll, a subtle shift was occurring in Marcus. His affection for Savannah, initially charming, began to morph into something more intense, bordering on obsession. He became increasingly possessive, subtly discouraging her from spending too much time with friends, questioning her whereabouts, and insisting on being privy to every detail of her day. His live streams, once spontaneous and joyful, started to feel more like a constant surveillance, a digital tether that bound Savannah to him. "Baby, who were you talking to on the phone earlier?" he'd ask, his tone casual, but his eyes sharp with an unspoken demand. "Didn't recognize the voice." Or, "Why didn't you answer my text right away? I was worried." He framed his possessiveness as concern, as intense love, and Savannah, still basking in the glow of his attention, largely dismissed it. She attributed it to his deep feelings for her, a sign of his devotion. Marcus's fascination with their shared past also grew. He would often ask Savannah about her childhood in Harmony Heights, her grandmother's stories, old photos she might have. He seemed particularly interested in her biological mother, who had passed away when Savannah was very young, barely a toddler. "It's just so crazy, baby," Marcus would often muse, his brow furrowed in thought. "I grew up here too, but I never met your mama. What was she like?" Savannah, who barely remembered her mother, would share what her grandmother had told her, stories of a kind, artistic woman, her face captured in fading photographs, a woman who had moved to Harmony Heights in her early 20s. Marcus would listen intently, a strange, almost haunted look in his eyes, occasionally asking for more details about her mother's life before her untimely passing. Savannah found this deep interest touching. It felt like Marcus was trying to connect with her past, to understand her more fully. She shared old photo albums, pointing out her mother's youthful face in group shots from community events, from church picnics, from local art shows. Marcus would scrutinize these images with an intensity that sometimes unnerved her, a silent, almost desperate search in his eyes. He never explicitly stated what he was searching for, and Savannah never asked. She simply accepted it as another facet of his profound love, another sign of his desire to intimately know every part of her. The more he looked, the more a vague, unsettling familiarity began to stir within him, a recognition he couldn't quite place, like a distant echo from a forgotten dream, growing louder with each passing day. The seeds of doubt, initially imperceptible, were sown subtly, like dandelion spores carried on a silent breeze. Marcus's increasingly intense interest in Savannah's mother, Angela Evans, began to feel less like genuine curiosity and more like a desperate, obsessive puzzle he was trying to solve. He would spend hours poring over old Harmony Heights yearbooks he'd found online, cross-referencing names, dates, and faces. He started making subtle inquiries in the community, asking older residents about Angela Evans, often disguising his questions as research for a historical project on the neighborhood's artistic past. One afternoon, while helping Savannah clean out her grandmother's attic, they stumbled upon an old, dusty shoebox filled with forgotten mementos. Among them was a faded photograph, yellowed with age, of a vibrant young woman, undeniably Angela Evans, standing next to a teenage boy at a community fair. The boy, even in his youth, was strikingly familiar. His face, lean and unformed, held the unmistakable bone structure of Marcus. A cold dread began to coil in Marcus's stomach. He quickly pocketed the photo, feigning disinterest. his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. Later that week, Marcus received a Facebook message request from a name he didn't immediately recognize: David Evans. The profile picture showed a man who looked remarkably like Savannah, but older with the same distinctive eyes. Marcus accepted the request, a knot of apprehension tightening in his gut. "Hey Marcus," the message read. "Savannah mentioned you're dating her. It's a small world. She's my niece. My late sister Angela's daughter. I just moved back to Harmony Heights after years away, and I heard about your family tragedy back in the day. My sister, Angela, used to talk about a young man she knew, a Marcus Jones. Thought I'd reach out." Marcus's blood ran cold. David Evans. Angela Evans's brother. Savannah's uncle. The pieces of a terrifying puzzle began to click into place, assembling a picture so horrifying it seemed impossible. He remembered Angela. He remembered a fleeting, passionate, secret romance years ago, just before he left Harmony Heights for college, a wild, reckless fling he'd buried deep under layers of ambition and self-reinvention. He had known she was a few years older, already building her life in the community. He had never considered the consequences, had simply moved on, leaving that chapter behind. And then, his mother had died, and he had buried himself in his new life, never looking back at Harmony Heights until his recent return. He opened his own old photo album, tucked away in a box in his closet, rarely looked at. He found a picture of himself as a young man, standing next to a smiling Angela, her arm linked through his, a secret memory, now brought into horrifying clarity. The dates matched. The timelines intersected with chilling precision. That night, Marcus confronted Savannah, not on Facebook Live, but in the quiet of their living room, the digital glow of his phone illuminating the terror in his eyes. "Savannah." His voice was hoarse, barely a whisper. "Your mother, Angela Evans. When was she born? And when exactly were you born?" Savannah, confused by his sudden intensity, answered innocently. "Mum was born in 79. I was born in 2 in August. Why are you asking, baby?" The date slammed into Marcus like a physical blow. He had been born in 86. He was 16 when Angela would have been 23. A young man, barely out of high school, and a woman in her early 20s. A secret, passionate summer. And then, a new life, a new trajectory, leaving Harmony Heights and Angela behind. Savannah's birth year. The pieces locked into place with a horrifying, sickening finality. He had left Harmony Heights shortly after that summer, moving away for college, never looking back, never knowing. "Oh God," Marcus whispered, the words catching in his throat, a primal scream trapped in his chest. "No, this can't be. It can't be." Savannah, alarmed by his distress, reached out to touch his arm. "Marcus, what is it? What's wrong?" He recoiled, his face pale, his eyes wide with a dawning horror that reflected her own mounting confusion. He held up the old, faded photo from the attic, the one of Angela and the teenage boy who was undeniably himself. And then he showed her an even older photo, a picture of Angela from his own hidden album, a picture of her taken just weeks before he left Harmony Heights, her stomach subtly rounded. This is your mother, isn't it, Savannah? And this is me." Savannah stared at the photos, then at Marcus, her mind struggling to comprehend. The familiar faces, the impossible connection. Her own mother, young and vibrant, a teenage Marcus, and the subtle curve of her mother's belly in that last photograph. "What are you saying?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "What is this? This isn't possible." Marcus's voice was a choked sob. "Savannah, you're my daughter. You're my daughter. And I'm your father." The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the frantic pounding of their own hearts. Their beautiful love story, their perfect romance, had just imploded, revealing itself as a grotesque, unthinkable nightmare. The words hung in the air, cold and deadly, shattering the warmth of their living room, vaporizing the illusion of their perfect love story. "You're my daughter. I'm your father." Savannah stared at Marcus, her mind reeling, rejecting the impossible truth. Her beautiful, loving Marcus, the man she was to marry. The man who held her heart was her father. The man who had shown her such tenderness, such passion, was a blood relative, a forbidden connection that now poisoned every shared memory, every intimate touch. "No," Savannah whispered, her voice a fragile protest against the crushing reality. "No, that's a lie. You're lying." My father was, I don't know who my father was. But it wasn't you, it couldn't be you." Tears welled in her eyes, not of sorrow, but of pure, unadulterated horror. She looked at the photos again, at the undeniable resemblance, at the dates Marcus had frantically pointed out. The puzzle pieces, once scattered, now clicked into a terrifying, coherent image. Her mother, Angela, a young woman, Marcus, a young man, a secret affair, and then her birth. An orphaned daughter, unknowingly falling in love with her own biological father. Marcus, his face a mask of profound agony, paced frantically. "I swear to God, Savannah, I didn't know. I left Harmony Heights right after that summer. Your mother, she never told me. I never knew she was pregnant. I never knew about you." He ran his hands through his hair, his eyes wild with despair. "My mother, she never spoke of her either. I thought it was just a fling, a young man's foolishness. My God, what have we done?" The room seemed to shrink around them, the air thick with unspoken taboos and the stench of shattered innocence. Savannah felt a wave of nausea, a sickening revulsion. Every kiss, every embrace, every whispered endearment now felt like an act of unspeakable defilement. The man she loved, the man she worshipped, was the man who had created her. Her entire life, her identity, her future had been built on a foundation of horrifying, unwitting incest. "Get away from me," Savannah snarled, a guttural sound of pure disgust. She scrambled backward, pushing herself against the sofa, as far from him as possible. "Don't touch me. Don't even look at me. This is sick. This is a nightmare." Marcus's despair deepened into a terrifying, manic desperation. "Savannah, please, don't say that. We can fix this. We can explain. We can figure this out." His mind, already fragile, began to unravel under the weight of the monstrous truth. The successful businessman, the charming community figure, was exposed as a participant in a biological horror. His reputation, his carefully constructed life, his very sanity, hung by a thread. He saw his world collapsing around him, public humiliation, legal repercussions, and the ultimate loss of Savannah, his daughter and his lover. "Fix this." Savannah scoffed, a bitter, broken laugh escaping her lips. "Fix this? There is no fixing this. We're father and daughter. This is an abomination. My God, I love my own father. And you loved your own daughter. How could this happen? How could you not know?" Her words, sharp and laced with profound disgust, pierced Marcus to his core. The realization of his unwitting transgression, the unthinkable reality of his relationship with Savannah, coupled with the imminent public exposure, pushed him over the edge. His carefully cultivated image, his standing in Harmony Heights, his entire life, was about to be obliterated by a truth so grotesque it would define him forever. He saw no way out, no path to redemption, no escape from the horrifying consequences. The despair morphed into a cold, desperate resolve, a final, twisted act of control. "If I can't have you, Savannah," Marcus whispered, his voice dangerously calm, "if we can't be together, then no one can. And the world needs to know our story. Our terrible story." A chilling, almost serene madness settled over his features. His eyes, once full of love, now held a terrifying emptiness, a void into which his sanity had plummeted. He reached for his phone, a familiar gesture that now held a sinister intent. The notification flashed across thousands of screens in Harmony Heights and beyond. Marcus Jones is live. Friends, family, community members, and casual followers tuned in, expecting another glimpse into the golden couple's perfect life. What they witnessed instead would forever scar their memories. The live stream opened with Marcus's face, pale and distorted by the phone's front camera, his eyes wide and vacant, filled with an indescribable torment. He was in their living room, the familiar decor now looking eerie and unsettling. The room was dimly lit, casting long shadows. "Hello everyone," Marcus began. His voice surprisingly calm, almost detached, yet with an unsettling tremor beneath the surface. I wanted to share something with all of you, something important, something that needs to be known. Thousands of comments began to flood the screen. MJ, you alright, man? Everything okay, Marcus? Where's Sunny? Is this a surprise? Marcus ignored the comments, his gaze fixed on some point beyond the lens, his words carefully articulated as if he were rehearsing a speech. Savannah and I, we have a love story, don't we, baby? The whole world thought it was perfect. He then turned the camera slightly, revealing Savannah in the background, huddled on the sofa, her face a mask of terror, tears silently streaming down her cheeks. Her body shook with uncontrollable sobs. The comments immediately changed. Sunny, what's wrong? Marcus, what are you doing to her? Is this a joke? It's not a joke, Marcus continued, his voice rising, gaining a chilling fervor. It's the truth. The devastating truth. This woman, the woman I love, the woman I was going to marry, she's my daughter. His voice broke on the last word, a raw, guttural cry of anguish and madness. My own flesh and blood, my daughter. A collective gasp, unheard but felt, rippled through the thousands watching. Dugulte, oh no way, Omen, this can't be real. Calls to 911 began to flood in from concerned viewers, from friends who recognized the background, from family members who felt a cold dread in their chests. Savannah, seeing the horror reflected in the camera, seeing her secret, her ultimate humiliation, being broadcast to the world, let out a heart-wrenching scream. No, Marcus. Don't do this, please, don't. Marcus ignored her pleas, his gaze fixated on the camera, his twisted confession pouring out. He spoke of Angela Evans, of the long-forgotten summer, of his unwitting fatherhood, of the years of blissful, ignorant love with his own child. He narrated their love story, but now it was a tale of unwitting incest, a grotesque betrayal of nature itself. He spoke of the shame, the disgust, the inability to live with the truth. This is the only way out, Savannah, he declared, his voice ringing with a chilling finality. The only way to end this nightmare. As frantic viewers continued to call the police, as emergency services scrambled to trace the live stream's location, Marcus pulled a small, silver pistol from his waistband. Savannah's eyes widened, her scream now trapped in her throat, a silent, primal terror. The horrified gasps and frantic messages on the live stream were deafening. I love you, Savannah, Marcus whispered, his face contorted in a final, agonizing expression of despair, love, and madness. He raised the gun, first towards Savannah, then towards himself. Marcus, no. Savannah shrieked, a desperate, final plea. A single gunshot echoed through the live stream, followed by a sickening thud. The camera fell, tumbling to the floor, capturing only a blurry image of the ceiling, but the silence that followed, punctuated by the frantic sounds of the house, was more deafening than any scream. Seconds later, a second shot. The live stream feed, after a moment of terrifying, grainy silence, abruptly cut out. Police, responding to hundreds of frantic 911 calls, converged on the Harmony Heights address. They found Marcus Jones and Savannah Evans, deceased, in their living room. Their once beautiful home, now a grotesque crime scene, a chilling testament to a love story that began in ignorance and ended in a very public, unthinkable tragedy. The aftermath of the Facebook Live incident was nothing short of a national media firestorm. The shocking content of Marcus Jones's final broadcast, initially shared and then rapidly taken down by the platform, spread like wildfire across the internet, debated, dissected, and condemned. Harmony Heights, once a symbol of community pride, became the epicenter of a horrifying spectacle, its residents grappling with unspeakable grief, profound shock, and a pervasive sense of violation. The police investigation confirmed the grim details. Marcus Jones had indeed shot Savannah Evans before turning the gun on himself. Autopsy reports and DNA evidence tragically corroborated Marcus's live confession. He was Savannah's biological father. The world reeled, struggling to comprehend a love story that began innocently, unknowingly, but ended in such a grotesque, public display of despair and violence. The Harmony Heights community was shattered. Many who had admired Marcus Jones, who had seen him as a pillar of strength and a symbol of success, grappled with the revelation of his monstrous secret and his final, desperate act. Savannah's grandmother, already frail, succumbed to grief shortly after the news broke. Unable to bear the weight of such a horrifying truth about her beloved granddaughter and the man she almost married, friends and neighbors struggled to reconcile the smiling couple they knew with the victims of such a twisted fate. The memory of the live stream, etched into the collective consciousness, became a haunting symbol of betrayal and despair. The media coverage ignited fierce debates about the ethics of live streaming, the responsibility of social media platforms, and the dangers of unchecked mental health crises playing out in the public sphere. Experts weighed in on the psychological impact of incest, the devastating consequences of long-held family secrets, and the profound trauma inflicted upon both perpetrators and victims in such unimaginable circumstances. Lingering questions plagued the investigation and the community. How could such a profound biological connection go undiscovered for so long? Marcus had left Harmony Heights after a brief, secret fling before Angela, Savannah's mother, would have known she was pregnant. Angela herself had passed away tragically young, taking her secret to the grave, perhaps unwilling or unable to reveal the identity of Savannah's father, or perhaps not even knowing the truth herself. Marcus's family had also been fragmented. The community, while close-knit, simply didn't have the pieces of the puzzle to put together an unlikely family history. The answers lay buried in forgotten pasts and unfortunate timings, a cruel twist of fate that brought father and daughter together as lovers. The tragedy served as a brutal, unforgettable lesson about the complexities of human relationships, the corrosive power of hidden truths, and the terrifying intersection of personal anguish with the pervasive reach of digital platforms. The echoes of Marcus's final broadcast would forever resonate, a chilling reminder of the secrets we keep, the identities we assume, and the devastating consequences when those hidden realities collide in the harsh light of public scrutiny. This harrowing true crime story, with its unique digital footprint, provides profound and unsettling lessons for individuals and society as a whole. Firstly, the corrosive power of secrets, especially those related to identity and lineage, is immense. Marcus and Savannah's tragic story underscores how buried truths, even unknowingly, can warp lives and lead to unimaginable pain. It emphasizes the importance of openness and honesty within families, and the potential for devastating consequences when significant biological or relational information remains concealed. For those who hold such secrets, or suspect they might be involved in such a situation, seeking professional guidance to navigate disclosure is crucial, as the truth, however painful, often leads to less destruction than its continued concealment. Secondly, this case vividly illustrates the critical importance of mental health awareness and intervention. Marcus's rapid descent into despair, triggered by the horrifying revelation, highlights the fragility of the human psyche when confronted with overwhelming trauma and shame. His decision to broadcast his final act live demonstrates a desperate cry for control and attention in a moment of utter collapse. It is imperative that we recognize signs of severe emotional distress, despair, or suicidal ideation in ourselves and others. If you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out immediately to mental health professionals, crisis hotlines, or trusted individuals. Help is available, and early intervention can prevent irreversible tragedies. Thirdly, the story raises uncomfortable questions about the public nature of modern life and the responsibility of social media platforms. The instantaneous, global reach of Facebook Live turned a private tragedy into a public spectacle, traumatizing countless unwitting viewers. While social media can connect us, it also blurs the lines between private and public, creating new vulnerabilities. It calls for a deeper conversation about ethical broadcasting, content moderation, and the psychological impact of witnessing extreme events online. For users, it serves as a reminder to be mindful of what we consume and share, and to exercise caution and empathy in the digital space. Finally, identity is multifaceted and can be shaped by circumstances beyond our control. Savannah's life was tragically defined by an identity she unknowingly inherited. It compels us to reflect on how our past, even unknown elements of it, can profoundly influence our present and future. It also reinforces the idea that love, while powerful, cannot exist healthily on a foundation of profound, hidden truths. Thank you for joining us on this difficult journey through the digital nightmare of hidden truths and public despair. If this story resonated with you, if it brought forth uncomfortable but necessary questions about family secrets, mental health, or the role of social media in our lives, please share your reflections by leaving a thoughtful comment below. Your engagement helps us continue to share these critical narratives and foster crucial conversations that can prevent future tragedies. If you found this deep dive into true crime compelling and wish to support our work in shedding light on these often hidden corners of society, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to our channel for more stories that explore the darker side of human nature, always aiming to shed light where it is most desperately needed. Until next time, stay safe, be vigilant, and never underestimate the power of hidden truths.